Okay. Page 12, in the last paragraph of Shimon Shkop, he summarizes, he makes a, and he points out another point of his Surah. It's important to know. No, Reb Shimon Shkop. אבל על כל פונים, the last paragraph, page 12. אבל על כל פונים, נראה לי, looks to me, בנוגע לעניין שחוק האחרונים, אם בעניין כסף של המקדש, do we need the money of the husband? הנה לפי דברינו יוצא לנו, what we said came out, the כסף של המקדש, the money of the husband of those kiddushim, לכולם לא בעניין, כל time we don't need. The זה אלפינו מבית כנעני, we learned from בית כנעני, I don't need that. ולהריטבו גם בלא ידין בית כנעני ידענו את זה. According to the Ritva, even without the בית כנעני, I know this from Sfara. That when somebody else gives you money and he loses, but I don't, it's enough kesef to mechayev him for me, to me. Or midina bet knayni, or misvah. The only thing we need, the rak bain, only we need, shetekabel o isho kesef. We need the woman to receive money, miisha noiselo, from the husband, from the man that gives her, avu, for the sake of akidushim. Beoifen, in the way she tishtabet bozeh, in the way that she obligated herself, al kocha by definition, by force. If she doesn't want, she has to give it back. But if she wants it, by definition, she is mishuba. Chiyu mimele. She's obligated herself by itself. Chiyu, obligation. Ozmeani, then it helps in maknis atzma vazeh, if she acquires herself with this to kiddushi. Ubinyan zeh, in this subject, gam ken leke shum pluk, so there's no argument about it. Again, somebody gives money to her for me, for the sake of me, to mishtabet to me. Or we learned from it knayni or misvara. I only need her to receive real money in order that that money will obligate her to a third party. Now we continue as a little bit more, and he adds to it. That's the reason I read this piece.
That's the law of arbitrary.
Yes. What happened if I give something which is prohibited to the giver, is permitted to the woman? For example, isurano. Isurano, the husband cannot use it, but the woman, she's sick or something, she's allowed. Yes. He says, zetolui bepluk, so that depends on the argument. Im isura asa, he knows asa? Isurano, choshiv is considered kechoser chsas. When I give isurano, it's considered a bit of a loss, because I can give it to people which do allow to use it. A lawyer is not considered losing a little bit. What? 1 second. He's asking what?
Loss.
No. The woman is allowed to enjoy the Sorano, but the giver is not allowed. The question is, when you're not allowed to use, means you cannot, it's not money for you, but still considered a loss. If somebody took it from you, it's considered a loss, a little bit of a loss. So he holds, no matter what, is a little bit of a loss. It's machloek is considered a little bit of a loss or not. But it's voreinu l'shtas toises v'ksubes anal. He bought a tois and ksubes. What do you want to say?
Where did this come from?
Why there is a little bit of a loss?
why do we need a new thing here, a little bit of a law? So until now, we just finished saying that if she receives it, she could do Shabbat herself. So who cares if there's laws or not?
We only learned from Evet Knaini that you don't need to lose, but somebody else lost.
How is that? He said, you don't have to learn that from Eight County, only that comes up, if you receive the work for somebody else.
But she needs to receive money. But she needs to receive money that obligates her.
So what? So she received money.
But if that money is not obligated, it's not a loss.
Someone is between the noise and between the Kabbalah. Because every Kabbalah has also the seed.
Oh, thank you.
Kabbalah has a cost. You do nothing for this. Or something like to get something. Right? They get some. Every Kabbalah has a seed. I from healthcare won't work. Because why? Because no Messina. I have healthcare. So Mali Hefka, Mali Sumano.
ולדבורנו לשלוש טויסס בכסו בסנן ושס רש"י ברישכוני מהני קידושין כאגמנו וכן במחיר.
Why do we make a distinction? What is the distinction? The woman can benefit and the person who.
No, the woman could benefit.
She can.
Because she's sick. She's allowed to eat Isurano.
Does anybody know what you're reading?
It's a it's a healing for her or something, whatever the story is. She's allowed. But he's not allowed. The question is he's giving her something or not, considered a little bit of a loss or not. What is a machlokes here?
What are you reading?
What?
Is it lost to him? Is that
Some opinion holds a little bit of loss, and he goes through the piece here to explain, but I just want to get the concept.
Where are you reading?
Some Rishonim wrote that the money, the spin-off money of Isur Ano are permitted, exchange of money of Isur Ano are permitted. Shum Deinam Dmeyem is not really the money of it, because it doesn't have value. It's like something that's the seller has something which stolen or a gift. And the money of it is permitted. Vadai the Lomani Kidushi has to be from the thing itself, not the may.
Why you put it down? Why you down with that? Why is Madame Avike? Madame Avike Gezel or Matona? Why you call it like heaven?
right now he's looking at
The gather is
the last
Gezel Matona, so then you cannot, and she's not Mekudeshes,
page 12.
even though the Dmei Surano Amuto.
Last
ומה שכוס הרם סויף פרק האיש מקדש. דמעני בדובר אוסור בענו למקדש. The Ram says, if the Mekadesh is also ba'ano and I give it to her, she's dishes. ורק לשיטת רש"י, the soiver, the דמי איסור ano, אבו דמיין. Only quote Rashi that the money, the exchange money of Isur Ano is considered their money, the value of it. All the Shamos, the Gezel Achar Yush, then it's doing like Gezel after Yeush, that should be Mekudeshes. כמו שמדע מהר"ן שם. אבל השיטה סרן בעצו, נראה דו, the loy me'ani kiddushi, we quote Ran himself, kiddushi doesn't work, gamna, the loy la'choyim shlo the loy making us. Okay. What's important for us is, you have to go through the piece. I just wanted to get the point. Really, I want to go on to the Ran, Rashbo, Rambam, and the Magid Mishnah, and the Avnei Miluim. That's all a preparation for the Birka Shmuel and Reb Chaim Alevi. But then we'll see the final story here.
What is that?
What is the story here? Here we have, if somebody gives a woman money, for him is not money, for her is money. Again, we learned the sugya here from Evet Knaini that if somebody else lose money, not you, and he says, you Mekudeshes, I want you with this money, that you will be Mekudesh somebody else. So if somebody else married a woman without losing money, no loss of money, Evet Knaini makes it to work. So if I can draw from that an idea If I give a woman money, which by me is not money, by her it is money. So I know by me, by the time it left me, was no Shoveputa. When it reached her, it was Shoveputa. Either way, went up in value when it get to her. But when it didn't come out of me money, he saw and didn't come out of me, but by her, she received the money.
What made it go up in value?
Market value.
What is what she gave it?
The pressure.
It's another story. Even it's too honor what he gave.
The pressure that.
Yes, the mindset, we're not money.
But Ibn Knaini teaches us that the Mekadesh doesn't need a chisaron. That's the thing. He says, "Ine lefit vorein, yotzon lonu de kesef shel Mekadesh lekulam v'lo ba'inam." I don't need this to be the money of the one who does the kiddush. We learn in Knaini, you don't need that. No machloikis. Question is, if it's not money by me and it's money by her, like Yisura no, is considered a little bit of a loss or not? So a little bit of a loss, she's mekudeshes. No loss at all. Nobody else lost. She received money. Here's a little bit different. In the case of a third party gave money, the third party had money which has a loss to him. And she received money which requires ishtabdus, requires obligation, or give it back, or obligate yourself. And she just directed the obligation to the husband, to somebody else. But the money she received was the money of shiabud that creates a shiabud. Here is different. Here, the husband gave directly the woman money.
She obligated money to somebody else.
What?
What do you mean?
By Evet Knaini, the third party gave her money, and that money is a real money of a loss, of money that obligates her, or to give it back, or to make Hiddushi. Mishtabet. Now he only tells her, I want to direct that Ishtabdus to my friend, not to me. That's one case. Here we're talking about a different case. We're talking about a case that the husband gave money directly to the woman. And by the husband is not money, because it's su'ano, and by her it is. It works or not. He wants to say it wouldn't work. The only way it would work if it's a little bit of a loss.
Somehow he's got to be husser.
When I said I don't need the loss, means I don't need the Mekadesh to lose. But the money that she receives, the Mekadesh doesn't need to lose. But the money that she receives has to be money that can obligate something. Now, if it's Surano and he's not giving anything, from his side there's no loss. From his side is Surano, and from her side she received money which is worth it, something. But how can that money obligate her? If there's a little bit of a loss to the husband, even a little bit of a culture, even let's say
Punishing her too.
correct. No, I'm not talking about the case of a kind of third party. I'm talking about a case where the husband gives the woman isurano. Okay? So he didn't release. He didn't release. He didn't release any money which is worth something because by him is isurano. She received money that is worth because she's sick. And it went up in value by her. So she received money that what can obligate her? Obligated to who? The owner of the money? The owner of the money for him, I didn't give any loss. So he says, if the husband has a little bit of a loss, and he brought some toys somewhere, it's called choser ktsas, losing a little bit, even less or some value. So then he says, will be a kiddushi, and will be a sell. But from the husband's side, it will be totally zero, no cheson at all. And she received money, it's like receiving her hefker, wouldn't obligate her.
Yeah, we're not.
We're not worth.
Because she does everything. Hashem can hear is the mice in the seat is not doing it.
Why? Because I enjoy, you don't lose. So you mean that's doing. When I'm enjoying and you don't lose, you cannot obligate me. In the rules of, listen, in the rules of if I enjoy and you don't lose, the only way you can obligate me if you lose a little bit, even less than the most of the wall becomes a little bit dark. I come to your house. Your house is not made to rent. So I'm using it, you're not losing anything. You have an empty house, it's not made for rent, and I walk in, it's amnen and you're not choser. But if a little bit of a choser, the walls will be dark, some loss, so then you can roll, it's not anymore midas doim, you can roll the money on me. Same thing is here. If I gave you money, which by me is not money, only by you it's money. That money, which is only by you, I cannot obligate you. There's no obligation to that money does not make an obligation to me, to nobody. But if there's a little bit of a loss, so then you can obligate. Because why? Because it's called zener. She enjoys. Who is she? The woman that received the surah or the puto she enjoys. And I didn't lose because by me is not showing puto, by me is not the surah no. But the rule is if somebody enjoys and I don't lose, but there's a small loss, even the showing puto, then I can ask for money. Then she received money that I can obligate her to mishtabed herself to. If that's true, so then I'm enjoying it. So I'm doing Yisur Ano, but the enjoyment, it looks like as a side thing, it's a spin-off. Not from the thing itself, is from the limit of a loss, it's like Dmei, it's exchanging of it. It's something of it. It's not direct. And then as he said, depends on that, and I look at that. Yes.
Three reasons. By saying there's a chosazon kabol ran in the scene, he took. I talked to the house. I took to the house.
Right.
So my city is not doing this. Zerachos, I come to the house. I enjoyed it. I didn't give you. I took. So, but there is a rochosa. So it is. But he is not doing it to Yisura. Here by Yisura, no, and it's also not doing it to Hefkem. But also Hefkem some not doing it because Hefkem self is no my city and nothing. Is no my city kinyan. Because she.
You're right. It's a good hiluk. Because Tosha says that even though we have zenev choser potu, but lechatchila I can prevent somebody to do it. It's only b'di'evet. He did it already. Lechatchila I can say, hey, don't go to my house. It's my house. She gave me the right, even though I'm not using it. Don't go. Then I can stop. So that's that I can stop you. And my question is, can we consider that choser to be considered money? That I don't know. That's another side.
Let's go back again.
Yes.
I'm shaking by here. Yisura, I agree with you. Is no chosa, no chosmide, no choyes. Sure.
Right.
But shaking is a imakol is a ma'aseh vishto of a ma'aseh nesin. Is a ma'aseh nesin here. I took and I gave. Is a ma'aseh yavesh.
Yes. Dry mice. Yeah.
Not demon moments.
Yes.
Yeah, moment. No moments.
No.
I have here. He gave us something.
Right.
He gave us something. He gave his svana.
Right.
The husband gave his svana. So Mechet Teresa, she's not married. Why we cannot do it to the case? Because the Maisa here have a Maisa.
Oh, good question. I'm not involved with that. The only thing I brought now to Shimon Shkop is only one point. That when we learn from Evet Knaini that you don't need, the Mekadesh doesn't need to have a chisoron, that builds in a point. Because if she received money that is no loss, that money doesn't obligate her. But why by Evet Knaini does work? Because the third party did lose money. He gave money which has a loss from. So now the woman receives money from a third party, money that obligates her. Because he lost the money and he says, if you don't want that money, if you don't obligate yourself, give me it back. Without shlichus. But that's what the receiver got. That's what the woman got. But in the case when he's direct, giving her money with no loss, no, that will not work. That's the point. Unless I'm lost, so he can ask for it. But that's the point. We can't get mixed up by the fact that the Gemara said we learn from it Kanaini And the Mekadas doesn't need a chisoron means the money doesn't need to be money of chisoron. The money of chisoron is no shtabdus. Okay, that's the point.
Money of this.
Choser. Money that obligates somebody else is money that's a loss if you don't want to give it back. Understand? Let's say the third party gave her Isurano. So it doesn't obligate her to get married to this guy, to his friend. You didn't give me anything that obligates me. Because by you is no money. And he gave her real money. So then he says, don't obligate yourself to me. The third party, that will recline, it works. But when you give Isurano, it's a different problem. There's no ischayvus, there's no ishtabdus. The type of money is the money of Isurano. If it wasn't a little bit of a loss, it's nothing. Okay. Yes, Melech. Why? So then you can demand. Yes. Could be spin. Something spins off side thing, not direct. The loss is in the side thing. For example, I have an object which I cannot enjoy, but if I exchange it by an Arab, or if I can gain the space by taking it out, I can put something on top of it, whatever. It's not direct. Spin off, value, domim of it, exchange of it. Understand? Correct. Yes, that's his piece. If this is not my goal now. So what is at that point? Let's see the Ran. My goal is learn the Ran. Let's see the Ran. Shleiman, I don't have time. It's already 41. It's a Rosh Chodesh, so I came late and we'll finish a little bit more late. Aran al Arif Masechet Kiddushin Avchet Amud Beis. You have it? Ubekesef al de'acherim ketzad. This goes on Evet Knaini. Anachnu be'ar Tzion Diaspora Yeshiva. That's a joke. But page 12, Amud Shemes, 12. Ran al Arif Masechet Kiddushin.
It's an old joke.
Aran. Ubekesef. Yes. We learning Evet Knaini to Kiddushin. So now we have to see Evet Knaini. How does Evet Knaini works? So the Ram says, Ubekesef. There's another Ram before that. Where's the other Ram? We jumped in it. We have to go. I'm sorry, we have to go back to page 8. Made a mistake with the Ram. This Ram we have to see. Page 8, my mistake. Page 8. Garsinon Bagemor. It's a Ran al Arim Davkim al Amudal. Itma Mishmei Rov. Becheli Yamamoino. Rov says that Orev and Evet Knaini. Gimel Amud. What? What sign? Page 8. Page 8. Page 8. 8.
But it's the Gemara, Zion on it all.
Yes.
You said Gimel.
No, it says Masechet Kiddushin Daf Gimel Amud Aleph. That's what it says above. Right? It's a Gemara Daf Zayin. Gimel and the Gemara is Daf Zayin. Garsin and Gemara Daf Zayin. Itma Mishmei Derov. V'chel Niyam Amoino. Which means Evet Knaini and Orev, it doesn't only work only by Kiddushin, also by selling a field, buying and selling a field. Kloima, which means Anach Shmaitzah. These words of Torah. The Alfin and the Gemara brought down, we learn out Kiddushin Midim Orev, Midim Knaini. We learn Kiddushin from the law of Orev and Evet Knaini. Ken Liga Mamoino, the same law as by money. How? Somebody sold him a field. He told him, don't pay me the money. Give the money to Ploini. And the fact you listen to me, dear Ploini, so I got enjoyment. My field will be sold to you. He acquires on the law of Orev. Or he says, somebody owns a field and he tells the buyer, here is 100 zuz. And the field will not be sold to you, will be sold to, sorry, made a mistake. Somebody owns the field, and a third party comes and he gives the owner of the field money. And he said, the money I gave it to you, will now the field be sold to my friend. To my friend, Kono. He acquires. Kono is or Evan. So what's the case? Made it clear is I own a field. Somebody goes over to me and he gives me money, not to buy it for himself, that will be sold to his friend. It works with you, Knaini. 10 money to Ploini, Vitiknoloi. I told somebody, give money to Ploini, and my field will be his. Third guy. Konimidin Shneim, he acquires from the laws of both of them. Kach, Kosav Rashi's out. So Rashi learned that Evet Knaini, Ore Midin Shneim, works also by money. Also by money. Velefikach, and therefore, Loi Piresh, that's why Rashi didn't explain. The Koinami Yaelach Mone, right, very. The Koinami goes also, Aelach Mone, if the woman gives a man money, Vetikin Elecho, Sodi, and my field will be acquired to you. Vodam Choshu, important person. The woman goes to the husband and says, here's money, receive it from me. The fact that you're an important person, you agreed to receive that money from me, says if that decision to accept the money from me, it's like he gave me something. So if I'm married for that, or if somebody owns a field and he gives the buyer money, instead of the buyer giving the seller gives the buyer and he says, you important person, you agreed to receive the money from me. So I got money, and that money is you acquired my field. Odom Choshu works. Why the Rashi didn't bring this part? Only Orev Evet Knainim Midin Shnei, we didn't bring Odom Choshu. Very good. Yechezkel. The Somcho Lachmei Motfei. Because the words Itmar Nami Mishmei Derov Chevamoino, he says it's nearby it it's more nearby Orev Evet Knainim Shneim and not Odom Choshu. Why? Why is mainly on that Odom Choshu, not on Odom Choshu? Mishum the Kiddushin Gufayim, because Kiddushin itself, Sipukim Esapke Lehom. Rov had a doubt. Boy Rovo, Eilach Mone Viskachi. If the woman gives money and he says, marry me through Odom Choshu, Rov has a sofek. The woman brings on Ravashi and others that the whole works for Odom Choshu. But Rov had a doubt. So, and when Rov says, Vecheli El Mamoino, it's most likely the only thing which was clear to him, which is El Orev Evet Knaini in Shneim, that it works by money. But when he had a doubt in Kiddushin itself, Velo Ifshetalei, and he didn't solve it. Imken, if so, Eichi Leme, how can he say two again, V'cheli Mamon, also by money? So therefore he says, L'choiro only goes on Orev Evet Knaini in Shneim, and not on Odom Choshu. Right. But us, which are not like Rov, came on the Pshital on Odom Choshu Mekudeshes. Since we hold that Odom Choshu is Mekudeshes, Mashma du Adin Nami Namamoins. Mashma that the same law is also by money. V'chen Dat Rabbeinu Chanana. Also the Rach holds the same. Shekosa we wrote. Eilach Mone V'ikn Lecho Nechosai. Take 100 Jews and my field will be acquired because you're Odom Choshu. That pleasure you agree to receive from me is considered kekli, like a vessel. A vessel that the buyer gives the seller. Again, I'm the seller. I say I give money to the buyer, and by him agreeing to receive, he's giving me pleasure back. That pleasure I look at as a vessel. That the aloch is in Chalipin, that the koine needs to give the makne a vessel to koine. So he says, I consider that as a kli, that the yoav koine the makne, that the law is, it's machloikis, but the law is that the buyer needs to give the seller. That pleasure is considered a pleasure to acquire through exchange. Chalipin. That assets. Why has to come onto that? Because the halacha is that land you can buy with money, but movable thing you cannot buy with money. Only Mashiach or Chalipin you could. So he wants to say Adam Choshu works not only by field. Adam Choshu works also by buying movable things. Even metalton you can acquire because I look at it as an exchange, as a kli, and therefore that money is not the money when a woman gives a man money and he's Adam Choshu, she didn't receive the money itself, she received pleasure from the money. That he agreed. That pleasure is not money, that the law is money doesn't acquire movable things, only Mashiach. No, I put it in the box of pleasure. Pleasure is not 100% money. Pleasure can be put in the box of Chalipin too, like a kli. And Chalipin does work metaltalin. Pleasure would work in metaltalin, and that pleasure that I receive would work like as a Chalipin, as a kli, and you're able to buy also movable things. Comes the Ran and he says, don't make a mistake in his words to say. He holds. That pleasure. Midin Chalipin, from the law of Chalipin Kanya. Midin Domim. Rabbeinu Hanan didn't mean to say that pleasure is a pleasure of Chalipin and not money. Shimken, Isha and Ikam Chalipin, the same way metaltalim cannot be with money, only Chalipin. A woman is opposite. A woman can only be acquired with money, not Chalipin. How can she acquire some with that pleasure? This is what he meant to say. The that pleasure of Adam Choshev, important person, Hashiva Lei is considered for him, the one who sells movable things, as if he's giving with exchange or money.
But it's not real Chalipin.
Right. It's considered. Think of Isha, a woman, a woman that can only be acquired with money, consider money. Metaltalin, upimidin Chalipin. Karkoe, can be both, can be metaltalin, can be Chalipin or money. Midin Shneim, both work. Means has the ability to have both, and you can choose whatever is needed, whatever works, it works. Oh, this is one important part. This one. I learned this for this last part. He says, oh, no, that by money. Why the reef didn't bring at all this halacha of Evet Knaini by land? I'm going to have to see the again. Reef didn't bring down, let's see. Inside, here we have the reef. The reef brings down.
I did say that the benefits of that.
Knaini. If Roma לא יקודש Mahu, it doesn't answer about bad money. Only in Kiddushin, Sograim is not inside. Only in Kiddushin, in Evet, Orev, and only in Midin Shneim, and Odom Choshev, and none of that. He didn't bring by Momo. She explains why. Because by Odom Choshev, Rov has a doubt. The Mila Aloch exists. But the reef didn't bring it at all. It totally erased the Kli Ramoina. And now let's see the Rambam, because of Rambam, Perikam Ilchos Mechira, Aoy Melechaveroi, 10 money leploini. Somebody tells her to give money to a third party. V'ikne beisi lecho, and my house will be acquired to that's Orev. Keiman shekonosan kol medin abayis Orev. It says, you give money to somebody, and if you listen to me, means you gave me pleasure. So then, or whatever it is, so then my house is sold to you. That's midin Orev. He says, I don't know why the Rambam erased the law of Evet Knaini by money. Umidin Shneim, he didn't write no Evet Knaini, Umidin Shneim. Doesn't know why the Rif and the Rambam. So the Rif didn't write it at all. Even in Orev, he didn't write by money. The Rambam wrote only Orev and not Evet Knaini. And Rashi wrote Orev and Knaini Umidin Shneim, but not the Mechoshu. So it doesn't say the Rambam. Why the Rambam wrote halfway, a limbo? Only Orev and didn't write Evet Knaini Umidin Shneim. Why? Shema Soiva. Maybe the Rambam holds. Davka be Kiddushin Gaminim Evet Knaini. Only Kiddushin I can learn from Evet Knaini. Mishum, turn the page. The Evet V'isha Kadodanilu. A slave and a woman is like equal. Why? It's a Gzero Shova. The Evet Komar Lolo Miisha. A slave is always attached to a woman. Because the Pasuk says, Ibacheres Ikach Lo. Lo, we learn Lolo Miisha is a Gzero Shova. A woman and a maidservant and a slave is all together. We transfer the law one to each other. So since Evet Knaini or maidservant, which is a Canaanite woman, she can be acquired with money through others and not losing money. Din Evet Knaini. I can learn to a woman because a woman, like Kiddushin, has always been mukash as a hekesh to Evet Knaini and Amoivia and Shifro Knainis. Avali Yamamo, about reference to money, there's no hekesh. And Lemeidim Evet Knaini, can learn from Evet Knaini. This is a very key piece. And the whole reason I learned this whole honest in the last words. There's no lolo. So let's learn Babe Matzinu. No. Comes the Ran and he says, it's not clear, but so this, one second. The beginning kasha that every person should ask himself. I'm learning from Evet Knaini to a woman. How can I learn? Evet Knaini is a chidush, it's a Gzeras HaKosuf. If it's Gzeras HaKosuf and a chidush, how can I learn it to have it to kiddush? Must be that is not considered Gzeras HaKosuf and chidush. It's actually a teaching. It's a luminary. It's a light for all. Evet Knaini is a light for all. Comes the Ran and he says, we see from the Rambam. And when the Rambam taught Evet Knaini only by Kiddush, not by money, must be learned that really Evet Knaini is a Kiddush Gzeras HaKosuf. And you cannot learn from this laws of acquisition. When I buy and sell object, land, metaltalim, whatever it is, Dina Kinyonim, the laws of acquisition, there I need to have a loss of money. In order for a person to be obligated to someone, that someone has to have a loss of money. Somebody has a loss of money, doesn't mean that money can obligate me to a third party. Only direct. Like the Ritva needs, like Rashi needs Gzeras HaKosuf. Nidro says, according to Mishmach, I know a Misvora. He says, no, I cannot learn Misvora. I need Gzeras HaKosuf. The Gzeras HaKosuf you cannot learn from monetary acquisition. Only Kiddushim, which is a Gzero Shah, the Lola Misha. I can learn from a Knaini to Shifra Knainis, to Isha, to Marinor. Even though it's Gzeras HaKosuf. But really, for Kinyonim, would not work. Now, I want to stop here for a second. I will say what? That's the Rambam. That's the option that the Rambam brings up. Shad the Rambam, but he says Enzer Mechuv is not clear. It's only he who needs an investigation. Very strange. How can the Rambam makes up a new drosha? The Gemara says he makes a whole thing. No, only goes on this, not on that. Okay. I have a lot of answers, and it's not important. What's important is in the concept. But this is really now we start opening Reb Chaim, Reb Kashmuel. You have to see Avnei Miluim here. Rambam Magibish Avnei Miluim. There's a whole world here. It really is not only we're not jumping to Mamon. It's really revaluing what we learned until now. Evet Knaini beKiddush. What is it? It's a din kloli, which is not Gzeras HaKosuf. It teaches you laws and the laws of acquisition and kikak. Or no, it's only a special thing between Evet Knaini to a woman because of Gzeras Shova Lo Misha. Even though every Canaan is because the simple is that every Canaan is Asakosu. Why? Because since every Canaan does have a yad, does have a hand, and somebody does the Chesoron Momoin, but where's the Maisakiyan? Somebody else did the Maisakiyan. If the Eved is free, wants to free his body, there's a buyer and a seller, the owner is a seller and the slave is a buyer, the buyer has to do a Maisakiyan of money to be released. How can somebody else does the Maisa for him? Okay, somebody else lose the money direct to him, but where's his Maisa? Elamai, we don't need a Maisa. I have to learn from someone. As there is, I meyaches, as the Shimon Shkop says, I related the pula to him. It's Xeras Akosu. How can I jump into Kiddushin? Kiddushin is a relation between two parties, husband and wife. The husband needs to do a Maisa Kicha. So where's the Maisa here? I don't need. How can does it mean? I just he needs to relate to him Maisa Kicha. Not that he has to do Maisa Kicha. Has to be Maisa Kicha. Has been related to him. So as Rabbi Feish asked yesterday, I don't understand. It's a very big Kiddushin. It's against the simple thing we learned until now in the whole Kiddushin. Masay Kiddushin. So really, what? So how would we say? Limud. I don't know what it is. Okay? אפשר ללמוד, יכול ללמוד, זה וכנעני also יוכל. So is it because Lolo Misho like the Rambam, or it's a small Kronis? If you learn it, it's Lolo, it's okay, it's only personal. So that solves the answer. It's only something local in neighborhood. Lolo Misho is Azakos. Is that a din in Kinyoni? But no, he's saying it's a din kloli, like the simple, like the Rashi learns. It's a din kloli. And Rashi does learn, we learn Xeras HaKosov that from every Knaim that somebody else loses. And we need a limud with every Knaim. And even though somebody else lost, it's good. We need that limud. It's not a svara. And yet Rashi says, even though we need a limud, he says we can learn also the money. It's not what is it? It's like a limud. It's not Xeras HaKosov, it's a limud. Yes, okay. This is where we have to investigate a little bit more. We have to see the Rambam, and we have to see it. There's a big man, Magid Mishti, and Avni Miluim. We must learn Avni Miluim. Magnish Avni Miluim, and then we're ready for the Kashmur and the Prime. So what I want to do is the next couple of days, tomorrow I have a show, Claudia. I'm going to start meeting with the Rambam and the Magid Mishti and Avni Miluim. We see how much you get through. And then we have Shavuos night, which I want everybody to learn the Prime Levi and the Kashmur. Kesem Mishnah, sorry. Avni Miluim goes on. It is Avni Miluim in Simon Choftes, page 13. So long Avni Miluim, we have to learn this. Okay? This is Avni Miluim. Yes, I didn't see the B'Kashmur yet. Okay, so we have to see the Zerah Magnet too. That's what he brings down. We have to see the Zerah Magnet. Okay, good. We have to see the Zerah Magnet too. Rabbi Hanania ben Akash רוצה הקדוש ברוך הוא לזרק ישראל לפיקה. גולו בזמן קוראים יבוא ועל כל מנדוס כמו רשת, זה נשאר לי בכל הצבא הצער, יהיה להם כל שומרה, בוכים וחיזו ורחמים, היי לנים נגד מגופו, כל המקרים שלה וחור שומרה בו, שמע אליכם עלינו הכל יזרקו, יש לנו יעשה לרחמות שלהם עלינו הכל יזרקו, שום עליך בצלם. ברוך השם, יש לך דושס? כן. מי היה גם ביזה? Roma. It's really good beat. זה מה עכשיו לא הבנתי גם מה העניין של עמידר, מה עמידר רוצה? שומרון. לא, מי אמר שרוצים?
Incluso no es yo le digo al sol, hola, acabo de dejar. Porque ahora ¿no?
Solamente dije una sola palabra. Una sola palabra.
Por el caso,
לא, היה לו כסף. תשאיר את זה בתשלום.
Wow,
cuando
por eso me voy. No, dice, andate porque igual se siente la energía.
y a la noche
Wow.
pero como la cima antes de la final, ¿no? Shiur de Ibu, 4
מה עם זמן הפסק?
Ah, ok.
Ya me la pierdo, no estoy casado.
Me mostré a la universidad.